Hello guys, welcome to OS X86 Devs. This video is the second part of the installation process for the Lenovo G50-80. Before I start this video, I want to apologize because I really didn't have time before to record, but yeah, here's the video. So the first thing we have to do is that we have to press the button that it's in here. It's a little button that is in there. It's the Lenovo button. So we're going to press that one, and our computer is going to start and it's going to give us a menu. As you can see, that is the menu that is given us. We're going to go to BIOS setup. First, we're going to go to the configuration tab. In here, we can enable or disable wireless. If you're just going to use macOS, you have to know that the Wi-Fi card is not going to work because the Wi-Fi card is not compatible. If you're going to use Windows, you must leave it enabled. For SATA controller, the mode has to be set to AHCI. Intel Virtual Technology, it's optional too. I didn't find any problems while having it disabled or enabled, so it's up to you. Again, if you're going to use it in Windows, then yeah, leave it enabled. Then we have to go to the security tab, and then we have to make sure that secure boot is disabled, because if we have this option enabled, it won't let macOS boot. So this option has to be disabled. Also, you want to make sure that you have the latest BIOS version, which is the V0CNA0WW. Make sure you have that BIOS version because that one is the only one that is going to let the computer boot faster. If you have any other versions, it's going to be really slow for booting. So yeah, let's go to the boot tab, and in here we have to choose UEFI for the boot mode. Then for the fast boot, it can be enabled. I didn't find any problems with that one too. The USB boot has to be enabled so that we can boot from our USB installer. PXE boot to LAN, that is optional. We don't need that. We need our USB installer. So yeah, if you had this option disabled, you're not going to see any options. Or if you had the boot mode set to legacy support, you're not going to see these other options as well. So make sure you have those options selected too. In case you didn't have those options enabled, all you have to do is that you have to set UEFI for the boot mode, and then you have to enable USB boot, and you have to plug in your USB in their computer. So we're going to go to the exit tab. We're going to exit saving changes. We're going to turn off the computer so it doesn't start, and we are going to boot our computer with the Lenovo button so we can go to the BIOS setup once again. Once you do that, you're going to be able to see your USB in the EFI devices, which is in here, right? Okay, so what we have to do now is that we have to press FN plus F6 in our keyboard so that we can put the EFI USB as the first boot option. Then we're going to go to exit saving changes, and we click yes. This time is going to boot to the Clover Bootloader because it's booting to the USB. And all we have to do is that we have to go to options, and then in here we're going to go to PCI devices, and we're going to choose the USB injection option. We're going to check that one. We're going to go to binaries patching. We're going to select kernel PM and kernel XCPM. Then we just go to return once again, and we're going to boot from the option that says boot macOS install from install macOS Mojave. Then we just hit enter. So now we're just going to wait for the installer to finish loading. Now you have to remember that the USB installer that we are using was created using the video in our channel, which is called how to create a USB installer with Transmac. So you can follow that process. All you have to do is use the Mojave installer, which you can download. I'm going to leave a link in the description to the guide that is going to take you to osx86.net. You can find the link in the guide. So just be patient until the computer starts. Also, you have to know that I added to the installer the text for the keyboard and mouse so that you don't have to use an external keyboard and mouse. But if you created your installer using a different method, then it will most likely not have the text needed for the keyboard and mouse, and they are not going to work during the installation process. So you are going to need a keyboard, an external keyboard and mouse. So yeah, let's go to this utility and then we just click on continue. Now you can see that it says view in there. So just click in that button and then just click on show all devices. So what we have to do is that we have to select our drive and we have to click on erase. We're going to create the first partition and we're going to name it Mojave, or you can name it anything you want. Then we're going to select APFS, and for the scheme, yeah, you can just use GUID partition map. Just click on erase and now just click on done. Now having our drive selected, we're going to go to partition, then we go to partition once again. We're just going to click on the plus button and we're going to add another partition. This time is going to call Win10 because we're going to also install Windows 10, but the format for this one has to be exFAT, right? So once we do that, we just click on apply and then we click on partition. We wait until it finishes and then we're just going to click on done. So what we have to do right now is that we just have to restart our computer, and since we're going to install Windows and Mac in this computer, we have to plug in our USB Windows installer in the computer. Okay, so now that we restarted our computer, we have to select the options that says Windows, the 64-bit option. So just hit enter, wait until the installer finishes loading. Okay, so now just choose your language, then just click next, then click on install. Okay, now that we are in the Windows setup, we have to accept the license terms, then we have to click on next, then we have to go to custom, install Windows only, advanced. We click on that one, and when you see this, all we have to do is that we have to choose the option that says partition 3 Windows 10. As you can see, it says Windows cannot be installed in this partition right now because we formatted it as exFAT. So we have to choose the Windows 10 partition. We have to click on format and then just click on OK. This will format the drive so that we can to NTFS format so that we can install Windows on it. As you can see, it disappeared the warning that was showing us before. Now we just have to click next and it's going to start with the installation process. Okay, so the installation process has finished. Just click on next. Just choose your location, then just click on yes, and then choose your keyboard layout. Just click yes too.
Also type in another keyboard layout.
Okay, so just type in the name that you're gonna be using for the account. Then just click next. You can type a password or not, it's optional. I don't want Cortana. Just, you know, this is optional, you know, you can customize it however you want. That is for the privacy settings. Okay, so once it finishes, we're going to eject our USB and we're going to plug in our Mojave USB installer. All you have to do is that you have to press the shift key, keep holding that key, and then click on restart. Then it's gonna give you some options, and just go to Troubleshoot, then go to EFI firmware options, then just click on restart. We're going to set our USB installer as the first option. So then we're going to exit saving changes, and now we are going to go to options. We are going to go to PCI devices, USB injection, then go to binaries patching and select kernel PM and kernel XCPM. Then just go to return once again, and we're going to boot from the option that says boot macOS install from install macOS Mojave. We're going to wait until the installer finishes loading. Okay, so now what we have to do is that we have to go to install macOS. Just click continue and just click once again on continue. Click on agree. Once again, click on agree. Then choose Mojave and just click on install. The computer is going to restart several times, and remember, you have to use the same flags that we just used to be able to boot from the USB installer. We are going to have to use all these options until we install Clover on the Mojave drive. So yeah, just wait for now. Okay, as you can see, the computer has now restarted. We have to select the same options. Remember, PCI devices, USB injection, and then binaries patching, kernel PM, and kernel XCPM. But this time we're going to boot from the option that says boot macOS install from Mojave. It just restarted once again, but this time it restarted back to Windows. If that happens to you, just restart the computer. Remember, just hold shift, then just click on restart, and when you get the options, go to Troubleshoot, Advanced Options, EFI Firmware Settings, then just click on restart, and then we're going to make sure once again that our USB is the one set as the first boot option. It's in there, right? So just click on exit saving changes and just choose the same options. And boot from the option that says boot macOS install from Mojave. Okay, as you can see, the computer restarted. So remember, we have to select the same options. But this time we're going to boot from the option that says boot macOS from Mojave. Okay, so when the installer finishes loading, all we have to do is that you have to select your location, then just click on continue, select your keyboard layout. We're going to click on my computer does not connect to the Ethernet, then just click continue once again. Click on continue, don't transfer any information now. Then just click on agree and agree once again. Now just choose any name. You have to choose a password, then just click on continue, then just click on customize settings, then click on continue, click on don't use, and just select your location. I'm not going to share any analytics with Apple, so I'm just going to uncheck these two options, and then I'm just going to click on continue. Here you can use either the dark mode or the light mode. It's completely up to you. This is completely optional. I'm going to use the dark mode for now. I'm just going to click on continue. Okay guys, now that we have finished installing macOS Mojave, you have to plug in the USB where you have the files that we are providing you. These are all the tools that we're going to be using. We're going to open Clover Bootloader. So we're going to click on continue. Then we click on continue once again. Now we have to click on change install location. And then we select Mojave. Then we click on continue. Then we click on customize. In here we have to go to UEFI drivers. We have to check APFS driver loader 64 and Aptio memory fix. Once we have selected those two options, we also want to make sure that we select these first two, which is Clover for UEFI boot only, and install Clover in the ESP, which is going to be selected automatically when you choose the first option. So yeah, those are all the options that we need. We just click on install, It's gonna ask for your password. Just enter your password, and that's it. We're going to turn off our computer, and we are going to boot with the Mojave USB installer. Go to boot menu and select your USB device. Now, once we are in Clover Bootloader, we're going to go to Start UEFI Shell 64, and we're going to hit enter. What we're going to do right now is that we're going to add an EFI boot option to the BIOS, because with this specific computer, it doesn't matter how you try to create different EFI partitions and install Clover on it, or just do different steps, it just won't work. So the first thing we have to do is that we have to type bcfg boot dump. In the description, I'm going to give you all of the codes that I'm going to be typing in here, so that you can just copy them from there and know exactly what you're doing. Enter. Here you can see the devices that are connected to the computer. As you can see, Windows Boot Manager is the first option that we use to be able to boot Windows 10. But as you can see, there is not such option for Mojave, and that is what we're going to add right now. So what we have to do is that we have to type fs2. So if you can see clearly in here, you can just go to the description and you're gonna have all of the code in there. So once we type fs2, we're going to hit enter. Then we're going to type ls. Remember, it's important you know when you have to use capitals or lowercase. So in this case it's lowercase ls. Then you hit enter. You're going to see that it says EFI. You have to see this, because that way you know that you do have that file in there that we can add to the BIOS. So once you see that, we're going to type cd EFI, then cd Clover, and then ls. As you can see, it's showing us the Clover x64.efi file, and that is the one that we have to add to the BIOS. So all we have to do to add that file, we are going to type bcfg boot add 04, and then with capital letters Clover x64.efi, and then Clover. Okay, then you just hit enter, and you're going to see that message that says target equals 000 and bcfg add boot 000 as 4. So all you have to do now is that you have to press the power button, and you have to restart your computer using the Lenovo button. Once you get the Lenovo button menu, we're going to go to the BIOS setup. Once here, we're going to go to the boot tab, and as you can see, we have now this option that is called Clover. So we're going to set this option as the main option. You can do that by pressing the F9, F6 keys. So once we have set that option as the main option, we have to go and exit saving changes. Then just click on yes. Boot with the Lenovo button, so that we can go to the boot menu and we can actually boot from our USB, because since we haven't yet added the necessary files to the Clover Bootloader, it's not going to work yet. So we have to boot once more with our USB. Remember, use the same options in PCI devices. Just choose USB injection, and in binary patching, choose kernel PM and kernel XCPM. Then go to return and boot from the option that says boot macOS from Mojave. If you see that it doesn't matter, just hit enter. If you get this message, it says that your computer didn't shut down properly the last time. Just don't worry about that message. Okay, so what we have to do now is that we have to go to our Lenovo G50-80 folder. We have to open Kex utility, type in your password. You have to go to the system library extensions, This is going to be the name of the folder, SLE, which is for System Library Extensions. That's where these kexts are going to be. We're going to just copy them all. We're going to drag and drop them to the kext utility, and we're going to wait until it asks for our password so it can install those kexts in there. The next thing we have to do is that we have to go to Launchpad, and we're going to go to Other, and we're going to open Terminal. Okay, so the first thing we have to type is diskutil list. It's asking for our password right now, kext utility. We're just going to type our password. You just click on OK, and you let it install all the kext. Okay, so in the terminal, you have to find which is your EFI partition. As you can see, in my case is this one, because this is my Apple APFS container disk where Mojave is installed, and the identifier for this one is disk0s1. It might be the same for you, but if it's different, you have to know. But in this case, mine is disk0s1. So you have to type sudo mkdir, then /volumes /EFI, then space sudo mount _ms-dos, then space /dev/disk0s1, because it's the identifier for my drive in this case, space /volumes once again /EFI. So I'm just going to hit enter. It's going to ask for my password, and I just type in the password, and you have to go to Finder. You're going to see that there is an EFI partition that has been mounted. If you just click on the Go in the top bar, you're going to see here that it says computer. Just go there, this EFI partition. You just click on it, you go to EFI, and you go to Clover. Here, all you have to do is that you have to delete this config file that we have in here, and we're going to copy the one that we provided you. As you can see, the kext utility has already finished in here, so we can just close it. Okay, we're going to copy the config file, just drag and drop it in here. And then what you need to do is that you have to go to the EFI folder, then to the Clover folder, and to the kext folder, and then to Other, and go to the same directory in the EFI partition. As you can see, this one is empty, so we're going to copy these two kexts. We're going to just drag it and drop them there. Then we're going to go back, and we're going to go to ACPI, and in patched, we're just going to drag and drop the ones that are in this folder called ACPI patched. We're just going to copy these files, just drop them there. We're going to patch our own Apple HDA kext. Remember, I cannot share mine because it's going to be different for yours, so you have to create one for your specific card. But it's really easy. All you need to have is Apple HDA patcher. Try to have the latest version possible, and then once you open it, you go to laptops, and then you go to Connexent CX20752. We're going to click on patch Apple HDA, and it's going to create a folder in the desktop which we can use. As you can see in here, it says HDA enabler kext created with layout ID 2. So if we had a different layout ID, we have to go and add that one specifically. Open once again kext utility, and we're just going to go to the desktop. You're going to see here this folder that was created that says Miron Audio. So once you open this folder, you see that you have an HDA enabler folder we're going to be needing this one. So just drag and drop this text in kex utility, type in your password, hit enter, and then we're going to go to the first folder that just has numbers. We go to that folder too, and you're going to see a folder in here that says full patched Apple HDA. You have to drag and drop this one in kex utility too, just type in your password. So as you can see, if we go to this folder in here, the one we provided you, we have already installed every kex and everything we need. We have all the DSDTs, we have all the kex, we have all the kex in the EFI partition. So we're going to restart our computer. Remember to unplug any USBs that you have, because this time we're going to be able to boot without the need of that. As you can see, it's going to open the Clover Boot Manager first. It's just going to give you 3 seconds for you to select an option, or it's going to boot from the last used option. In here, you don't have to use any flags. You can just go and use this option that says boot Windows from EFI, and you're going to be able to boot to the version of Windows that you have installed. And here we're going to be able to boot macOS from Mojave. As you can see now, the computer started with no problems. You just enter your password. We're going to go to System Preferences, then we are going to go to Audio, and we're going to play any of the sounds. And as you can see, we have sound in here. We go to Output, we have internal speakers, and in the input we have our microphone. And so let's go back to the main menu. So you can see you can go to displays in here, and in the brightness you can use the brightness because we have already enabled that. Then we can go to energy saver. You can have this show the battery status, or you can just remove it. You can just come here and click on show percentage. As you can see right now, my computer is charged completely and is charging. So if I remove the charger, it's no longer showing the charging icon because I unplugged the charger. If I plug it again, you can see it's charging. So we're going to go to about this Mac. As you can see in here, it says processor, an Intel iCore 3 processor. This computer has 12 gigabytes of RAM, as we upgraded in the previous video, and we have an Intel HD graphics 4400 with 1536 megabytes of video. As you can see here, the display, the storage, the Mojave drive. This one that says Untitled is the one for Windows. As you can see, everything is working right now. Let's go to Launchpad, then go to Photo Booth. You're going to be able to see that the camera is working in there. As you can see, everything is working right now. You must have your touchpad and your keyboard working. The DVD reader works too, with no problems. You already said that we have audio. Now I'm just going to show you real fast what you have to do when you want to upgrade this computer. Okay, so as you can see, all you have to do is that you have to connect your LAN cable to your computer. Once you do that, you have to go to System Preferences, then you have to go to Network, and you're going to see in here that it's already connected to the Ethernet. So let's update this computer to the latest version of macOS. Just click on Continue and just type in Mojave. Once you find Mojave, just click on Get, and it's going to open the system update, and it's going to start looking for the latest updates possible. And it says that it found the 10.14.2 upgrade, so you're just going to click on download. As you can see, it's not just downloading an upgrade, but it's actually downloading the whole operating system. But the process is going to be automatically, because all you have to do is download this update. The computer is going to restart on its own. Now remember, we have to boot from the option that says boot from install macOS Mojave, because it's going to create that installer again. The audio is working, but since we already have the files in there, we are going to have to add them again later, because it's going to override them. But it's going to be the only thing that it's going to override. It's not going to touch your EFI folder. It's not going to touch any of the files that you have in the EFI partition, and even in the system library extensions folder is just going to replace the Apple HDA kext, because it's the one that it's already there. But all you have to do is just to go to Miran Audio, go to the first folder, click on that one, and just go to full patch Apple HDA and just install this kext once again with kext utility, and that way you're going to be able to have audio again. But that is going to be the only thing that you need. So yeah, you're going to have the latest version of Apple's operating system. So let's wait for this download to finish. As you can see, it says now install an update. If it doesn't restart, then you can just go and click on update now, download and restart. So it's going to download those updates. Once it finishes downloading the updates, you're going to see a message in here that it says that your computer is going to restart in 1 minute. Let's just click restart. It's going to start installing the updates. Remember, when the computer restarts, you don't have to boot to the drive, but you have to boot to the installer. As you can see, the computer has now restarted, but like I told you before, we don't have to use boot macOS from Mojave, but we have to use boot macOS install from Mojave, because we're going to install the updates now. So just click on that option and wait until the installation process finishes. If it restarts and you see the same boot option, the one that says install, then you have to boot from that one until the computer boots to the desktop. It restarted once again, that it's okay. Just boot with the option that says boot macOS install from Mojave. If you see that is normal too. As you can see, it's now telling us that it's going to take about 44 minutes. It might not really take that long, depending obviously on your hardware, but that is just an estimated time. So yeah, like I said, just be patient. If it restarts and you see the install option, then you have to boot from that one. If you no longer see that option, then you have to boot from the option that says boot macOS from Mojave. We're going to just type in our password, and as you can see, it says your Mac is up to date, macOS Mojave 10.14.2. We can go to about this Mac too. You're gonna be able to see in here that it says version 10.14.2. So as you can see now, when we go to sound, there's nothing in here, because it's like I explained to you before, the kext was deleted. So all we have to do is that we have to open kext utility. We don't have to add HDA enabler, because it's already in there. The only one that was replaced was Apple HDA. So we have to just install this one. So just drag and drop it in the kext utility. And as you can see, when you press this one, it's going to open your DVD reader, and you're going to be able to just use your DVD reader. We have access to the Ethernet. We have the video working perfectly. I hope you guys like this video. I apologize once again because it's so late. As you can see, we can just go to YouTube. Remember guys, click on subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell to keep up to date with all of the videos that we upload, and don't forget to like and comment in our videos so that we know if you like our content and what we can do to make it better. If you have any questions, just comment and I will try to help you as much as I can. So thank you and goodbye.